Yeah, good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Kindly type one on the chat if you can hear me. Okay, great, great. Let's wait a few more minutes. Great, 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 great. All right. We'll start exactly 10 minutes past 9. Stay active, guys. All right, guys. Yeah, all right, so let's get started. Let's get started. Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to 2 Billion Forex Academy. If you're new here, my name is Timothy, aka 2 Billion, and this is our weekly live market analysis trading session where we break down the Forex market step by step, in a very practical and well structured way. All right. We usually hold this session every Mondays and Wednesday by 9 o'clock a.m. West African time. And our primary focus is XAUUSD. Okay. And of course, you have the opportunity to request other pairs you want me to analyze. All right. So the purpose and goal of this session is to help you, sharpen your understanding of the smart money concepts, including order blocks, market structure, liquidity zones, and price action, how to read the market structure the right way, identify key zones, okay, as well as liquidity areas, and of course, and how you can effectively apply this in a real market condition. Okay, again for newbies, this you don't have to worry. This is suitable for both newbies and intermediate traders as well as professional traders. Okay, we follow a very well-structured top-down analysis process. Okay, so just stay glued and follow me. Okay, so let's dive right into this. Let's get started. Head to the charts. Please kindly confirm in the chat if you can see my screen. Is my screen visible? Drop on if my screen is visible. Drop one in the chat if my screen is visible. Drop one in the chat if my screen is visible. Drop one in the chat if my screen is visible. All right, great. Okay, so let's continue. I'll start with a quick recap of what the market has been doing since our last session. Okay, we'll look at the previous zones we marked out in our last session and what price actually did around those zones. Okay, so let's head to the chart. Okay, so this is what we did in our last session. Okay, so we're able to mark out the following order block zones. This So we're able to mark the following order block zones. But unfortunately, price didn't get to this, zones. Okay, price didn't get to the zones. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. So I'll take out these coordinates. Just take out the coordinates. Okay, so if you look at this, okay, so these were the zones we marked on the live session we had on Monday. Okay, if you look at it, price didn't get to this zone. Price didn't get to this zone. Okay, all right, so we'll wait for price to get to this zone, probably in the future. Okay, for now, let's just minimize the zone and take out the position 2. Okay, so let's look at the zones that price was able to mitigate. Okay, look at, so I took this trade yesterday. This was the trade I took yesterday. Okay, and as you can see, let's analyze it briefly before we commence today's chart analysis or trade analysis. So let's look at it. All right, so we have all these. This has been mitigated. Take it out. Okay, so let's look at this zone I traded yesterday. Let's drill down to the 5 minutes time frame. All right. Okay, so look at it. This is the reason I took this trade. Okay, so this is a 15 minutes, so this is a 5 minutes order block zone, right? This is a 5 minutes order block zone. This is my order block. So I mark this order block on the 5 minutes time frame. Okay, and looking at the, if you look to your left, you would see that this order block actually swept liquidity. You know, another block that swept liquidity is a very high probability order block, and price is most likely going to react. Price is most likely going to respect the zone. Okay, so this order block swept liquidity before it was created, and that was one of the factor that made me took this trade yesterday. Okay, so in the moment I identified this, I was able to identify this, and I mark out my zone, and of course it met all the criterias for a valid order block zone, which includes the fair value gap. If you look at this, there was a fair value gap here. Let's zoom in. Look at this, the gap between the previous candle, the momentum candle, and the candle after the momentum candle. So if you look at this, this is the fair value gap here. There's a fair value gap. Okay, so it met that criteria. And of course, the pivot candle, which is this candle, it closed below the candle before and after the momentum candle. Okay, you can see this is the pivot candle, this red candle with a long lower wick. Okay, it closes below these two candles. It closes below this candle, it closes below this candle and this candle. Okay, so this is our pivot candle, right? The candle on which you marked your order block, basically, that's your pivot candle. You can see it closes below these two candles, right? Making it a valid order block. It has a fair value gap, making it a valid order block. So I waited here for price to mitigate the order block zone. Then on the formation of this bullish candle, right, I took my entry. So I was able to set a buy stop order on this trade, and of course my trade was executed the moment price went upward. So that is that on this basically. So we don't spend a lot of time on this. I would head to today's market analysis. Let me take this out. So I believe you've learned something from this. Okay, I took my yes for my TP. Okay, I targeted this supply zone. If you look at it closely, there's a supply zone here on the 5 minutes time frame. This is a supply zone or a supply order block zone. This is another order block here, a supply order block. This is it, right? So that was where I targeted for my TP. Okay, although price got to the fair value gap, This is a fair value gap. Look at it. Let me extend it to this. Supplies fair value gap. All right. So you can see price tapped into the fair value gap, right? And there was this massive reversal back to the. So I was able to take my, I was able to exit the trade actually, on the formation of this or what's it called, the red candle. Because I was very, very sure that this supply zone is going to cause a massive retracement, considering the fact that if you look at the order block candle, this huge momentum candle, you can see how, big and massive the candle is. It tells you the amount of order, that was executed by the institution, by smart money at this zone. The size of the candle tells you, the size of the order, how large, how massive the orders, were. So I understood clearly that this order block is going to, create a massive reversal, and that was why um, I took my profit exactly at the fair value, you know, gap zone. Immediately, price started forming the red candle. I exited this trade. Okay, but I got busy. Otherwise, the plan was to, reposition and take another entry once price retraces to this zone. If you look at it, we have another order block here. Okay, and look at it. We have another order block here, which is this. You can drill this down to 3 minutes to refine the zone. You drill this down to 3 minutes. You drop down to 3 minutes to refine this zone. Okay, and look at what price did. As you can see, price came into the order block zone, and boom, it went bullish. Like the bull movement was massive, as you can see. All right, so that is that for the trade I took yesterday. Okay, and let me take this off quickly. All right, so let's head to today's market analysis. Please, I want to confirm, I want to be sure I am not alone. Kindly type 1 in the chat if you are with me. Kindly type 1 in the chat if you are with me. Kindly type 1 in the chat if you are with me. Please, it is important you watch the recap of this video. Okay, I covered the good details there. Please ensure you watch the recap of the video. Okay, I need a 1 in the chat to be sure I'm not alone. Kindly drop 1 in the chat. Kindly drop 1 in the chat. Ensure you go through the recap of this video. Okay, I've covered a detailed or musical analysis of the trade I took yesterday. All right, great. Good. So let's move on to today's market analysis. Let's see what gold, has for us in stock. Okay, let's see if we could, make a good, a ton of money today trading gold. All right, back to the chart. Again, I want to believe you all understand our top-down analysis process. Okay. To refresh your memory, these are the time frame we trade. We trade the daily time frame, the 4H, the 2H, 1H, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, and the 5 minutes time frame. Okay, and as you already know, we begin our top-down analysis process from the daily time frame. Okay, now we're on the daily time frame. Again, you want to ask yourself, what is the market doing? What is the market doing? Is the market bullish or is the market bearish? Are we printing higher highs and higher lows? Or we're printing lower highs and lower lows? Okay, this gives you a perspective of the market's trend. Yeah, your answer to that question gives a perspective, an idea of what the market, of the current market's trend, which is very, very key in order for you to determine the kind of opportunity or the type of opportunity to look out for. Okay, you don't want to be selling in a bearish, so you don't want to be selling in a bullish market and vice versa. That is not to say that you can't take opportunities in the opposite or in the counter trend direction. Yes, you can, if certain factors are met. Okay, of course, I take opportunities that are counter trend, but then I take it only when certain opportunities are met. And of course, like I always say, when I take trades like that, I am very, very conservative with my take profits. That is key. I'm very, very conservative with my take profits, compared to when I'm taking trades in the direction of the prevailing trend. Okay, then you can be very, very ambitious. You can, target as much as even 4 to 5 hours. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Okay. So first and foremost, what is the market doing on the daily time frame? This is where the big banks, the big institutions, financial institutions, make trade decision, right? And that is why we come here to look at their perspective, of the market. Now, like I used to tell you guys, the first thing you want to do on the daily time frame is structure first. Understand the trend, understand the structure of the market, right? Then pay close attention to the most recent market structure. So pay close attention to the most recent break of structure, BOS, or market shifts, as the case may be. Okay, so looking at this, the most recent break of structure that I can see here, please take note of this. Sometimes the structure may not be very clear on some time frames. What you have to do is to drop down to the lower time frame. If I'm on the daily and I'm not getting a very clear picture of the current market structure, what I would do is to drop down to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, don't try to create structures out of thin air. Drop down to a lower time frame for a clearer picture. Right. In this case, what I'm going to do right now, the most recent break of structure that I can see on the daily time frame is this, which we've marked previously, and this would be our order block for that zone. Again, it met all of the criteria of a valid order block. You can see there's a presence of a fair value gap, which is this. There's a fair value gap, right? One. There is also a break of structure, okay, which is the second, what's it called, criteria that must be met. Okay, and of course there is a massive bullish candle the before the what's it called, the pivot candle, right? So it's met all of the criteria of a valid order block zone. Fine. Now back to our structure. We want to start marking out our zones, right? And the first thing we look out for is a break of structure or a market shift. Again, you look out for a break of structure or a market shift. Yeah, anyways, like I said, this is the most recent one that I can see. And if you're marking out this other block zone, then we're going to wait almost forever for price to get down here. So let's drop down to 4-hour to have a more clearer picture of the market. So I'm on the 4-hour time frame. All right, okay. Okay, I think I'm seeing an opportunity here. So this is my order block zone. The most recent I can see, we have this. Let's mark it out. Let's mark this out. This is our order block zone. Please look at how I'm taking this. Look at how I'm what's it called? Marking out my zones, sequentially. I'm dropping down from time frames to further refine my zone. Okay. All right. So for our time frame, let's mark out our order block. Okay. We have the fair value gap here. So these are bullish or demand order block zone, like I used to call it, demand order block zone. And this is my fair value gap. Okay, this is my fair value gap. The distance between this and this. Okay, and of course, this is my break of structure. Okay, on the 4-hour time frame, this is a break of structure, right? There's a break of structure. Okay, so this is our 4 hour order block zone. Yes, like I said, we have another block here, but I don't want to mark this. I'm only interested in the most recent, market structure, the most recent order block zones. Okay, I don't want to wait. I want an opportunity that I can execute like right away. So you mark only the recent order block zones. Okay, now we've been able to draw out our order block zone on the 4H time frame. What do we do next? We drill down to the 2H time frame to further refine our zone. Now, again, I'm on the 2H time frame, and as you can see, because I was able to drop down to 2H, now I can refine this zone further to this candle. Look at this candle. Okay, this is my order block zone on the 2H time frame, right? And here is my fair value gap. This is my fair value gap this year. Okay, this is my fair value gap. The distance or the gap between the pivot candle and the candle after the momentum candle, that is this candle and this candle, again this candle and this candle, that is our fair value gap, right? Okay, so this is it. Let's fill this guy up like this. All right, so this is our fair value gap, right? um yeah, let's still refine this a little. Okay, so yeah, this is what we have. Okay, so let's drill down further to the 1H time frame to further refine this zone where applicable. Okay, so yeah, I can see, it's okay. So now the 1H time frame, okay, the other block zone aligns with that of 2H, so we are maintaining this. The fair value gap, we can refine it to this. Okay, this is our fair value gap here on the 1H time frame. And let's see if we have some other block here that we can mark out. Let's see. Okay, this zone has already been mitigated. Otherwise, we could have marked this out. You can see price came down here to mitigate. This is another block zone, but we missed it, right? This would have been a very fantastic zone here for us to take this buy to the next swing level here, but we missed it. As you can see, price came back, tap into the zone, and gave this massive bullish move. Okay, and for the second time, it's coming to tap the zone again and currently buying. But anyways, we missed it. Let's take it out. Okay, and let's continue. So on the 1H time frame, this is what we have. Okay, let's drill down further. Let's drill down further to the 30 minutes time frame. Okay, so now on the 30-minute time frame, we have this. Okay, on the 30-minute time frame, I can see another order block zone. And again, for this, okay, let me leave it at this. This is okay, but this is our new fair value gap for the 30-minute time frame. Okay, and here is our order block. Okay, now I can see a fresh order block zone, which we can mark out as well. This is an order block. Okay, we mark this out. The supply is a demand order block zone. So I like to use this for my demand order block zone. And for my supply, I use this. Okay. All right. So yes, the fair value gap is present. A fair value gap is present. Okay. This is a fair value gap. All right, FVG. Okay, so price is yet to mitigate this order block. So I think we have an opportunity here. This again has already been mitigated. We missed it. Let's see. This guy, this. So this is also an order block zone. Yeah. So like I told you guys in our last session, this is an order block zone. Dimension. Let's have fair value gap. Fair value gap. All right. So these are FVG. Okay. So just like I told you guys in the last in our last session, I said when I have a zone, two zones like this, right? I usually pay attention to the extreme zone because price, whenever I have two zones that are very close in proximity like this, okay, I usually prefer the extreme zone because price respects extreme zones a lot, and the probability of an extreme zone playing out is very, very high. Okay, and that is why I usually prefer the extreme zones. All right, so but for this, we're going to observe price action at this zone. At this zone, okay, we're going to observe price action. Okay, and depending on price action, right? Let's see how price react at this zone. That will determine whether or not we should take our trade at this zone. And if we eventually take our trade at this zone, we'll be very, very conservative with our take profits, right? But for this, I'll be targeting the next swing level, which is this, right? Okay, let's continue. We're still identifying our zones. So we've been able to mark out these three zones. Let's drill down further to the 15-minute time frame to identify the 15-minute order block zones and also further refine the zones we've drawn earlier. All right, so this is our 15 minutes, and okay, we can refine this to this order block. There's an order block here, and our FVG, bring it down to this to fill up this gap, right? Okay, and for this, we can refine it further to this. So we have this, and for our FVG, we fill up this gap. This is the gap here. This is our FVG. All right, cool. Um, Yep. So this is our FVG. This should be somewhere around here. All right, cool. And for this, we'll leave it at this. I'll leave it here. This is fine. This is fine. Put it right here. This is our zone. All right. So I believe we are following. You can see how I'm able to refine the zones as we, drop down from one time frame to another. Okay. This is my break of structure. All right. Okay, so now let's drill down to our entry time frame. This is where patience separates, professionals from gamblers. The execution time frame, which is 5 minutes for us. Okay, because I like to take sniper entries. So I drill down my order block zones today. 15 minutes order block zone. Let's take this line out. We don't need it. All right. Okay, good. So on the 15 minutes time frame, On the 15-minute time frame, I have an order block here. There's another block here. I'll mark it out, although I'll mark it out and minimize it for reference, because I don't see price coming here anytime soon. Okay, so this is my FVG. All right, so I'll just minimize it. Let me leave it at this. Let me leave it at this. So let's focus on this. All right. So let's see if there are other refinements we can do on the 5-minute time frame. There's a full order block zone here, but again, we missed it. We missed this. This is an order block with a very tiny fair value gap. Okay, it meets all of the criteria of a valid order block zone. Okay, but we missed it. This is it. You can see immediately price tapped into the order block zone. It gives this massive bullish move. So the last swing higher. Okay. All right. And it's currently reacting to it, but I see price, using this level. I see price. Let me take this out first. So I see price using this level as liquidity zone. Okay. Or liquidity area. So this level. And this is liquidity area for, so this is liquidity area, right? This is liquidity area for price to strip available liquidity here, tap into this order block, react to the order block, and probably, get to this resistance level here. We have a resistance level here, take notes. This is a resistance level. It's important to mark that out as the last swing high. Okay. So price might do something like this. Come down. Yeah. Sorry. Price might do something like this. Take this guy out. Come back here. Price might do something like this. So strip available liquidity, tap into the zone, and target this swing level. Then again start a reversal to the order block zone below, which is this, and also react to this. Probably give us as much as this, then to this order block level, and continue in its bullish move. Okay, so this is what we are anticipating. This is what we are anticipating. So we are going to wait for price to come to our zones before we execute, right? Now you can also mark your liquidity zone as this, because I can see this is a trend line liquidity. Okay, you can mark your liquidity zone as this, but depending on the structure anyway, since I have another block here, I want to mark my liquidity zone as this, because price will have to strip all available liquidity below this low, right, and tap into this other block to mitigate the other block, then give a bullish move. Okay, all right, are we good? Please type 1 in the chat if you're with me. Please type 1 in the chat if you're with me. Type 1 in the chat if you're with me. Type 1 in the chat if you're together. If you're together, type 1 in the chat. We're together. Kindly type one on the chat. Type one on the chat if we're together. Great, 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 great. All right. So now on our 4H, sorry, on the 5 minute time frame, we've been able to drill down our order block zones to the 5 minute time frame. Now, like I've said earlier, this is where patience separates, gamblers from professional traders, right? You have to be patient. You have to wait for price to tap into your zone before you know you execute. You have to wait for price to tap into your zone before you execute your trade. So let me place my position two. Again, there are two ways we execute our trade. You can either use the risk entry or you use the um, confirmation entry, right? So like I told you guys, for me, for this, I use risk entry at extreme zones, right? Other than that, I use confirmation entry. Okay. Now at this zone most especially, I'll be using a risk entry. Okay, sorry, please. I think we need to refine this order block zone further. Yeah, cool. So this is our order block for 5 minutes. This is our order block zone for 5 minutes. On the 5 minute time frame, this is our order block zone. Let's bring undo. Let's bring this guy down here a little. All right. Okay, so these are fair value gap. This is a fair value gap. And okay, I think this is good. It's a fair value gap. All right. So now we'll just wait patiently for price to come to our zones and then we execute. So this is where I'll be placing my position two. Okay. My long position two. This is where we'll be entering our trade. For this, my SL will be, if you're setting your SL, please, your SL should be right below the swing low or the swing level. This is the swing low. So just place your SL slightly below the swing low, which is this. Okay, so place it slightly below this. Now, because there's an order block below this order block, I would advise and recommend you keep your take profit. You are very conservative with your take profit. You can just target probably 2R, or let's say 2.5. I'm not going to put it all the way here. Okay, I'm not going to place the TP here. I'll just bring it down to, let's say, where's the next supply zone? Because market moves from liquidity to liquidity. So where's the next supply zone here? That should be, this will be my next supply zone where price is currently reacting. Okay, so I'll be placing my take profit for the first order block zone. I'll be placing it at the next supply zone. This is my supply zone, right? I don't want to target the most recent swing high. I just want to target the supply zone where I can guarantee of price reaching that zone. All right, so this is where I'll be targeting. Okay, this. Now for this, we have two zones here. Okay, we have two zones here. Let me push this out a little. So we can, for this, we can target this. We can target this. And our SL, don't forget your SL should be slightly below the swing low. Okay, slightly below the swing low, because if price breaks below the swing low, it simply means the zone has been invalidated, right? But then please give room for liquidity sweep, because I noticed that gold has been sweeping liquidity consistently lately before making the main move. Okay, so just give room for liquidity sweep. Give a room for liquidity sweep. So target the most recent swing high, which is this resistance level, right? Then our SL will be right here, slightly below the swing low, slightly below the swing low. So that is that for this. And finally, for the third zone, which is the extreme zone and the high probability zone, where we expect price to tap into and give us a very massive, buy, which is this, right? So we are going to target the next swing high. This, you see the risk to reward ratio is very, very impressive. As you can see, it's very, very impressive. Again, our SL, for the SL, we are going to place our SL slightly below this level. This level. For me, I will place the SL right here because there's an order block here. So I'll place the SL slightly below the order block. So worst case scenario, if price breaks below this order block, probably price invalidated this order block, it will definitely 98.9% probability respect this zone and dish a very massive buy, because this is the most extreme zone. So that is why I'm placing my SL here, because price can probably just pierce through this zone, invalidate it, and tap into this extreme zone, then create a very massive bullish movement. All right, so that is that. That is that. That is that. That is that. Okay, we have just 20 minutes to. I'll share this on the Free Signal Telegram channel and the coordinates. Okay, I'll share this on the Free Signal Telegram channel as well as the coordinates, so you can, you know, wait patiently for price to get to the zone. And, you know, then I want to say this just in case price did not, reverse to any of this zone. This is what you should expect. Please, if you don't get this, do not take a trade. This is what you should expect. Wait patiently for price to do this, to break above this um this was called the resistance level. Wait for price to break above it, then pulls back to retest the zone. Look out for available liquidity sweep around this zone. Then you can identify the order block that led to this breakout. Okay, identify or mark out the order block that led to the breakout. Then wait patiently for price to tap into the order block. Then ride the bullish continuation move. That is what I would say. Of course, I don't know what the future holds, not until price prints on the charts. That is when we can identify those zones. But just to forecast what could likely happen in a case where a situation where price did not pull back to any of our zones, we can expect this. Please wait for a breakout of this resistance level, then mark out the other block that led to that breakout. The breakout must be massive, like a momentum can be, right. Wait for the candle, wait for the, identify the zone, rather, the other block zone that led to the breakout, and wait for price to test the zone, when we test the zone, and boom, you take your buy, um, what's it called, order. Okay, but because you don't know the next high, you can be very conservative with your TP. Can be very, very conservative with your TP. We are still in London session, right? Depending on what session the breakout happens, that will determine whether or not you should be conservative or ambitious with your take profits. All right, but this is what I can say for this. Wait for the breakout, mark the other block zone that led to the breakout, and wait for price to come back to retest the other block zone, then execute without hesitation. Okay. All right, so that is that. I have just 20 minutes to take pairs that you want me to analyze. If there's any pair you want me to analyze, please drop it in the chat so I can analyze the pair. Just have drop it in the chat, drop it in the chat. If there's any pair you want me to analyze, in the absence of a pair, then we can call it a day. All right, guys. All right, guys. Any pair? If there's any pair you want me to analyze, drop it in the chat so we can analyze the pair and call it a day. Spent 1 hour already. All right, guys. Okay. So all right, guys. So let's wrap it up for today. Okay. Again, the key lesson for today: structure your order block zones, then your entries. Right. All right. So please, if this session added value to you, please don't forget to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss one live session. We'll be back again on Monday at 9 o'clock a.m. That is 9:00 a.m. West African time. So until then, guys, trade smart, protect your capital, and I'll see you in the next session. Peace out, guys.